So Jay, so you being the centerpiece of NC Fit and obviously top of the pile, like what do you do to always be bettering yourself? Do you put a bit of like time into becoming a better, entrepreneur, more well-rounded person? Like what are some of the things, because you're a high achiever, people like to hear from high achievers what they do, their tips and tricks. Like what do you do to always be getting better?
I embrace this mentality called AMRAP mentality, which will be coming out soon. And basically the AMRAP mentality is this idea of like, I was married, trying to grow a business, trying to compete. I'm like, man, how do I balance all these different things? And the idea is that if I treated each facet of my life like an AMRAP, I could be more successful because I'm being present and focused on it. So like right now, when we're podcasting, I'm just AMRAPing with you guys. Like I'm sitting here, I'm looking you guys in the eye, we're having a good conversation. I'm not on my phone. I'm not, doing anything else. I'm just focused on you guys. And I think sometimes as human beings, we're just so distracted all the time that we're not very productive.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I try and do is when I'm at work. When I'm at home. When I'm training. Like I told you guys when you guys got here, I was like, hey, I need to go work out real quick. I took 12 minutes, just did my own thing. Don't just you guys chill out here.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yes.
Right? But that's the kind of being present and focused that could allow you to get more work done in less time. So the AMRAP mentality is just about identifying what you want to focus on, right? So for me, it's business, family, fitness. Then switch gears or actually work hard at, each thing that you're doing throughout the day. Switch gears in between them, right? So right now I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. And then, every now and then reevaluate what your priorities and what your focuses are. And so I think for me as a individual, as an entrepreneur, as whatever I'm trying to do, I want to make myself as uncomfortable as I can, as often as I can. So that means, I roll jiu-jitsu when I'm home, probably 3 days a week. That's very much so getting comfortable with uncomfortable, right? It's getting me outside my norm, and that only helps me. I try and do public speaking as much as I can, because the more I do it, the more comfortable I can get with that uncomfortableness.
Yeah, for sure.
I try and put myself in positions where your back's up against the wall a little bit, and you either man up and you get through it, or you kind of learn from it, right?
Yeah, that's great. I think
Yeah,
let me say this, Jace. I think you just uttered the most CrossFitter sentence I've ever heard.
What was it?
We're sitting here, we're podcasting. I'm AMRAPing with you guys. I'm AMRAPing with you guys, right? I'm like, well, yeah, I suppose you are.
Hey, are we recording?
But I know.
Stand by. Go.
Okay,
here we go.
3, 2, 1, go. No, but it's about. I know what you're saying. It's about just being present and actually being all in with what you do.
But
and I
it's
feel
still
like
fucking hard to switch that mentality times. Like I would hate it. Like I do from time to time. But like if I'm spending time with my missus after like a good day, hard day of whatever, like I'll be like, oh shit, I didn't send that email. What do you do to flick the switch then?
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but it's something I'm aware of, right? It's someone asked me the other day, I was speaking in front of a group of finance executives the other day, and they're like, so, I don't know if I'm doing a good job. It's like, look, the fact that you're at least aware that you're not as present as you could be means you're already on the right track.
Yeah, that's right.
And so the fact that you could sit there and be like, you know what? I shouldn't have been on my phone when I was doing this. Like, that's something I constantly remind myself with, and I'm not perfect at all. I got a long road to go, but at least I'm aware enough to say, hey, when I'm doing this, I need to learn how to just let go. And it's tough because, I'm very entrepreneurial in that sense, like especially in business. If something comes up in my head, boom, I want to act on it. But the way I can act on it is if something comes up in the head, just write myself a note. I shoot myself an email, and I can address it later.
You shoot yourself an email.
Yeah.
That's one of your things.
That's
one of your tips. Yeah, cool.
Most people just go like this.
Yeah, because I'm not like a notes taker, and like some of our guys, like they take a lot of notes and they draft stuff. For me, if I really want to do it, I'll just write myself an email and then shoot it to myself. Because what I like to do is at the end of the day, I like to look. Like for example, if I have a really busy day, I'll have tons of emails. One of them will be from me. I'll start going off, and I'll leave the one from me. Then once I get to the one from me, then I'll address it.
Yeah, that's actually.
Chase got back to me.
That's actually
I love it.
I wonder how he is.
Fucking love that guy.
Yeah. That's actually great. See, I get business-related stuff coming in from all different angles, from Instagram messages, Facebook messages, mainly probably via email. And I always say to people, can you, whatever they've written, I say, can you please email that same thing to me? Just cut and paste it, because if it goes into my email, I'll action it. I've got like a flagging, a proper system that I use in my email. But then for my own notes, I don't really like kind of thing, you know what I mean? So that's actually a really good tip. Email yourself. Yo, Doc, try and do this on Monday.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's what helps me.
Yeah, I like it.
So that's what helps me.
I like it.
So what about your training then, Jay? So we love the business stuff, but are you still competing? Have you retired now? You retired?
So yeah. So basically, so I competed as an individual 7 times on a team in 2015. And then 2016 season came around, and then obviously my daughter was diagnosed. It was a very easy decision.
Cool.
And, you know, I thought about doing the Open and stuff like that, but I don't really have any aspirations to go to the games again. That kind of ship has sailed for me. I'm more inspired by, you know, the business side and things of that nature. I still remain, you know, very fit. I still work out every day with the gym and with the classes, but I don't have the same drive. And so, it's, you know, the takeaway here is that I think if you want to do anything, whether it be go to the CrossFit Games or build a business, you got to have a strong internal drive of why you're doing it. Otherwise, when things get challenging, it's very easy to be like, you know what, forget it.
Yeah,
you know, my back's been up against the wall in competition a lot of times. And like, you think about it, when it gets tough, it doesn't matter how many social media followers you get or how much money you're making, you're going to fail if you don't have a strong internal deep drive. And so for me, I don't look at the games anymore with that same drive. So I'd rather just not place myself in that zone and just utilize it for fun, but not competition.
Yeah. And then so, because that, I mean, this whole, I'm just interested because like this whole entrepreneurial, you know, side of and the drive, and some of that must have been formed through your competitiveness during your when you were competing.
Yeah.
How did you actually find CrossFit in the start, and then how was that?
So in 2006, I was working at the conventional gym.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine, Austin, introduced me to CrossFit. And at the time, you know, I'd just been doing the normal stuff. I'd done a little bit of Muay Thai, so a little bit of kickboxing. So I had lost some weight. I was feeling pretty fit. But, you know, I didn't understand this concept of going against the clock. And it took me a little while to wrap my head around it. But once I did, it was excellent. But that same going against the clock is kind of like what I'm talking about with AMRAP mentality, right? Is get more done in less time. And so I was introduced to it in 2006, you know, started competing in 2007 on like YouTube. And then 2008 was when I won the games. And yeah, I mean, kind of just everything's kind of evolved ever since. But I've had some good mentors along the way, you know, some good people that have taught me a lot of good stuff and kind of taken me underneath their wing and kept me inspired.
Cool. Hey, Jace, I got a question regarding the sport of CrossFit in general. So, as a gym owner, somebody who's trying to bring general pop people, get them in the door, help them better their life, whatever they want to do, lose weight, look better, more self-confidence, whatever. That's what CrossFit does, right? What do you think of the sport of fitness in regards to getting people through the door in your gym? Because I feel like the way that the CrossFit Games is promoted might stop people from walking through the doors of the gym.
I think there's a major... I mean, I would make the argument, I don't know if the CrossFit Games have been good or bad for CrossFit.
Yeah.
I can't answer that. The good thing is it builds awareness. The bad thing is that it gives a lot of preconceived opinions.
Yeah.
So for us, you know, we're NC Fit. We're NC Fit because we want to be in control of someone's first impression. And then when they come in, a program we offer is CrossFit at some of our locations. Not all of them, but a program we offer is CrossFit. And we're fans of it. But it's not our brand. Our brand and our identity is for us to distinguish. And you know, I think that's one of the downsides of CrossFit Games is that a lot of people have preconceived notions that CrossFit's this crazy thing. And at the end of the day, it's actually not. I mean, CrossFit is the everyday person getting in better shape, but perception is reality. And that's why we had to brand ourselves as NC Fit so that we could be in control of our own destiny.
That's such an interesting, it's such a good point. Like, even as a coach, one of the biggest barriers from a personal perspective you hear is like, oh, you know, I really want to do CrossFit, but I feel like I just
need to get in shape before.
I need to get in shape first and didn't do some PT first, you know. But I really feel like kind of what you said could be the way it's going to evolve, where there'll be almost some gyms that are just kind of directed towards the competition-based side of CrossFit, and then there are just other gyms that are just general pop sort of stuff, you know?
I mean, I think CrossFit's changed the fitness industry forever.
I totally agree.
You know, it introduced functional fitness, it introduced against the clock, it did a lot of great things.
F45 came from CrossFit. All the Globo gyms have got functional spaces. Yoga. And high intensity.
So if you think about it, 24-hour fitness was down here in terms of complexity and coaching, or your traditional gym. CrossFit came in up here with complexity coaching, a lot of complexity, complex gymnastics, complex weightlifting. What happened is this giant gap in the middle, and that giant gap has been filled with Barry's Boot Camp, F45, Orange Theory, right? Because there's people that want more coaching and more complexity, but not as much as what CrossFit's offering. So we've done as a business is we have 3 tailored offerings to hit all the areas of the gap, right? We have a 30-minute offering, a 45-minute offering, and a 60-minute offering. Our 60-minute offering is the most level of complexity and variance. You have Olympic weightlifting, you have barbells, whatever. 45 is just a power lift with a Metcon, and then 30 is no barbells, just dumbbell, kettlebell, rowing, etc.
Yeah, cool.
And so at our gyms, we have a way of kind of, hey, what are you trying to do? We just want to get you more fit. So, pick a program, let's have some fun.
That's good.
And do you find that like certain demographics fit into those three? Do you see stereotypes?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general what you find is that the 30-minute class is better for someone who's not as consistent. 45 is good for someone who's like 3 days a week because it blends a little strength with conditioning. And then, 60 minutes more for someone who's like making it a program 5-6 days a week. The thing is that CrossFit traditionally as a program, it's tough to follow only once a week. Because when you come in, there's so much variance that you can never really get good at anything.
Yeah.
So that's why our 30-minute class is good because it doesn't take as long to develop the skill to row as it does to snatch.
That's true.
Jay, so I got another question on CrossFit itself and CrossFit HQ, and I'm nervous a little bit asking you because you've been very close to the HQ of CrossFit for a very long time.
Yeah.
So me being CrossFit, I was a CrossFit coach back in the day, very heavily intertwined in the community. Like I said, a lot of my friends are gym owners, CrossFit owners, and their livelihood goes, in hand with the CrossFit brand. What do you think about some of the controversies that have been behind, like obviously there's the Glock thing that came out. There was a bunch of like little mini storms on the social media from time to time that kicked up a big stink.
With the social media posts like with the bear.
Yeah.
And that. Speaking of which.
Yeah.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.